Okay, so you remember in the last class, we had discussed various factors related to economics of power generation. So the various factors like load factor, diversity factor, what is load curve, and then what is average load, what is maximum load, maximum demand on the station. So all these things we had discussed in the earlier class. Now, we will understand what are the importance of these factors. So if you recall, what is plant capacity factor? It is the ratio of actual energy produced to the maximum possible energy that could have been produced during a given period. So this factor represents the plant capacity. See, this can be calculated for a given duration. It may be for a 1 year, or it may be for 1 month, or it may be during a day. So you can calculate. So suppose if you are calculating for 1 year, here plant capacity factor is equal to actually energy produced. Energy produced will be what? So average load into time during which the energy was produced. So average demand on the system will be specified, into time also will be specified, divided by maximum energy that could have been produced. That means the plant capacity. So based on the plant capacity, maximum energy can be produced. So plant capacity will be expressed in either kilowatts or megawatts. If it is a large value, it will be expressed in megawatts into time. Okay, to time. Here again, the time what you consider will be based on whether it will be considered annually, or it may be daily, or it may be monthly. So suppose if you consider for 1 year, then it is called as annual plant capacity factor, will be equal to annual kilowatt hour output. See here, kilowatt hour, that is average demand. Of course, it is actual energy produced is nothing but average demand, annual average demand into corresponding time. So this you will get will be in kilowatt hour, or if it is large value, it will be in megawatt hour, divided by maximum energy that could be produced is nothing but plant capacity. Since in the numerator it is kilowatt hour, so multiply by time, so that both numerator and denominator should be having same unit. So it is very important factor. Plant capacity factor is an indication of the reserve capacity of the plant. See, in a power station, apart from the so many units, they will be generating the power. So in case if there is a sudden increase in the load demand, we should have a reserve capacity. For example, there may be 10 units or 10 generators. When I say unit means, you have to understand it is generator. 10 generators are running. So then suddenly, of course, they will be producing the power depending upon the load on the system. Suddenly there is increase in the load. So we should have a reserve capacity to meet the increased load demand. So this plant capacity is an indication of the reserve capacity of the plant. So installed capacity of plant is always somewhat greater than the maximum demand on the plant. That's why installed capacity will be slightly greater than the maximum demand of the plant. So similarly, we have other factors. Plant use factor. See how it is different from plant capacity factor. Plant use factor, it is the ratio of kilowatt hour generated to the product of plant capacity and the number of hours for which the plant was in operation. See, only change in this expression is in the denominator, hours of use. See, in the earlier expression, for entire time it was considered. Here only for how many number of hours the plant was used, so that has to be considered. Okay, so this is plant use factor. It's the ratio of numerator part remains same, in the denominator of course plant capacity into, instead of but fixed number of hours, it should be the hours for which the plant was running, it was used. Okay, so to understand this, suppose you have a plant having installed capacity of 20 megawatts, producing annual output of this much, 7.35 into 10 to the power 6 kilowatt hour, but it remains in operation for 2190 hours in a day instead of 8760, that is 365 into 24 is 8760, but it is operating only for this many 2190 hours a day. Then plant use factor will be, so in the numerator it is the station output in kilowatt hour. It is given. Okay. If it is not given, you may have to calculate using average demand into time. Sometimes the load data will be given, you may have to calculate. Here, just for illustration, I have directly taken this value. Then divide by maximum, plant capacity. Plant capacity is given 20 megawatts. See here, in the numerator, denominator, you should have the same unit. In the numerator is in kilowatt hour, whereas in the denominator, if you substitute 20 into 10 to the power 6 is watts. Or you can write 20 into 10 to the power 6. It has to be in kilo. Both numerator and denominator has to be in kilo. You're following. This is how plant use factor can be calculated. Note down this data. All of you are noting down. So you are getting plant use factor is 16.7%. Just it is 16.7. See here. Look at this value. See, this factor has to be high, because plant has a maximum capacity of this much, but the energy produced is only this much, 7.35 into 10 to the power 6. So the plant has to be used for the maximum capacity, because it is able to generate this much megawatts. So if it is less, means plant use factor is less. A proposed station has the following daily load cycle. Daily means it is say from morning 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. again from 12 p.m. to morning 6. So total for 24 hours. Okay. See, time in hours. So you can understand it is from 6 to 8 a.m. The load is 20 megawatts. From 8 to 11 a.m. load on the system is 40 megawatts. 11 to 16 means 11 to 12. 11 to 12 noon. Then after that 16. So you can consider 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so like that. 16 to 19 till 24. Okay, 24 means midnight 12 a.m. So then from 24 a.m. to morning 6 a.m. You are following? Repeat. See, time in hours 6 to 8 a.m. load is 20 megawatts. 8 to 11 a.m. 40 megawatts. So of course here 11 to 16. Of course we will have 11 to 12. Then 13, 14, 15, 16 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, 5 p.m. Then 16 to 19, 35 megawatts. So here it is not specified like 1 to 5 p.m. It is continuously mentioned. Okay, till 22 to 24 means that is midnight 12 a.m. Then 24, that is midnight 12 a.m. to morning 6 a.m. that is 20 watts. Is it clear? Now we will see how to plot this load curve. See, load curve, it is a plot of load in megawatts or kilowatts, whatever it may be, versus time. Okay. So here you have to understand 0 a.m. means morning 6. Okay. So it is specified here 6 to 8 a.m. 20. So whereas again here from 24, 12, 9 to 6. So it is 6 hours plus 2 hours, it is 20 megawatts. That's why I have considered here 20 into 8. So in order to calculate the load factor, which is the ratio of average load divided by maximum demand. Here average load can be calculated from the load curve. See, from the load curve. So the area of the load curve will represent the average load or how much units are being generated. So these units generated can be obtained from the load duration curve. So you have plotted this load duration curve from the given data. Okay, so it is given here 6 to 8, 20 megawatts. Okay, so 6 to 8, it is like you have to understand morning. So 20 megawatts, then 8 to 11, 40 megawatts. 8 to 11, so actually you understand here it is 11. So here it is 12, it is 11, 40 megawatts. Then 11 to 16, 11 to 16, 11 to 16, it is 50 megawatts, 50 megawatts. Then 16 to 19, 35 megawatts. 16 to 19, 16 to 19, see 20 is here, 19 it is 35 megawatts approximately we have represented. Then 19 to 22, 70. 19 to 20, 19 to 22, 70. See here, 70 megawatts. Okay. So then 22 to 24, 40. 22 to 24, 40. 22, 24, 40. Then 44, that is 24 hours means that is at 12 a.m. midnight. Midnight to 6 a.m. morning, 20 megawatts. Okay. So again, that will be continued here. 6 to 8 a.m. 20. That means total here 6 hours plus 6 to 8, 2. That is for 8 hours load is 20 megawatts. Okay. So here when you are calculating the unit generated per day, which is nothing but area in kilowatt hour during under the load curve. So you have to calculate the area of the load curve. That will give the how much units generated per day. Okay. So since it is in kilowatt hour, so 10 to the power 3. Here consider this area of the load curve. First it is 20. This, what is the area of this? How do you calculate? 8 into 20. 20 into 8. You are following. See this 20 into 8, how do we consider here? It is from 24 to 6. 24 hours means 12 a.m. in the midnight to morning 6 a.m. That is 6 hours plus 6 to 8 a.m. So total 8 hours it is 20 megawatts. That's what it has been represented here. So that is why 20 into 8. Area of this. Next, similarly consider the area of this. That is from 8 to 12. So 8 to 12, how many hours it is? 9, 10, how many hours? 40. It is for 40 megawatts, 3 hours. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So then plus 50 into 5. So here 50 into, so this is, sorry, it is 8 to 11. 8 to 11 will be 3 hours into 40. 3 hours into 40 plus, that's what here, 3 hours into 40. Next, area of this curve. Area of this curve. So all this area has to be added. That will give the units generated per day. So area of this curve, how do you consider? That is 11 to 16 means 5 hours. 5 hours into 50. 5 into 50. So this magnitude is 50. So like this, next load is 17, 18, 19. 3 hours into 35. 3 hours into 35. That's what you have represented. 3 into 35 plus 70 into 3. 70 into 3. So here 3 hours. For 3 hours load was 70 megawatts. See, this is the area of this curve. Area of this curve. So plus finally 40 into 2. It was 40. So 22 to 24, 2 hours. For 2 hours, the load was 40 megawatts. Anyway, this part we have already considered here in the beginning. 6 hours plus 2 hours, that is 8 hours, it was 20 megawatts. Is it clear? So this is how we calculate the units generated per day from the load duration curve. Okay. So since it is given in megawatts, okay, so we have multiplied by 10 to the power 3. So what we get will be in kilowatt hour. Clear? Or if you have substituted each part 20, 40, 50, etc. into 20 into 10 to the power 6, you would have got in watt hour. So what you have done into 10 to the power 3 we have done. So you will get in kilowatt hour. Okay. Simplify this. So you will see that you will get 925 into 10 to the power 3 kilowatt hour. This many units are being generated. So this we have obtained from the load duration curve. Now, what is average load? Average load will be expressed in kilowatts or megawatts, depending upon the value. If it is very large value, we will express in megawatts. Okay, so this will be kilowatt hour divided by hour. That will give kilowatts, is it not? Kilowatt hour divided by number of hours. Here hours it is for 24 hours. So divided by, it were calculated for 1 month, corresponding number of hours it has to be considered. Similarly, if it is if you are asked for annual load factor, number of hours will be 365 into 24. That will be considered. Here it is for daily, 1 day. So 24 hours it is 24. So we will get, this is the average load. Now load factor will be defined as the ratio of average load divided by maximum demand. See, how do you say, how do you get maximum demand? See, from the data you observe, the maximum demand on the system is 70 megawatts, is it not? Even you have seen that in the, this can be clearly seen from the low duration curve. Maximum demand is 70 megawatts that has been put. Since here in the numerator it is in kilowatts, so here 70 megawatts you convert into kilowatts. That will be 70 into 10 to the power 3 kilowatts. So you will get load factor of, see, very important, the conversion of unit here. So in the expression, both the numerator and denominator should be having the same unit. See here, I will repeat, everything load is given in megawatts. See, it can be 20 into 10 to the power 6, 40 to 10 to the power 6, etc. into 10 to the power 6 because it is in megawatts. So what we have done here, we have expressed in kilowatts. So 20 into 10 to the power 6 watts is nothing but 20 into 10 to the power 3 kilowatts, is it not? So that's what it is. 10 to the power 3 I have taken common factor here. So what you get will be in kilowatt hour. Next slide. See, so you have solved one problem, how to calculate load factor. You have got it is 0.55. See, what's the importance of this load factor? See, always for a given system, load factor should be high. The load factor plays a very important role in determining the cost of energy. So you know that electricity authority people, they will assign the charge and you will get the electricity people for which you have used the energy, you have to pay to the electricity authority. So how they will charge you, that is based on the load factor, how much load factor we have used. It is very important in determining the cost of energy. So what are the advantages of using high load factor? See, it reduces the cost per unit generated. You have to understand per unit. 1 unit means 1 kilowatt hour. Maybe you may consume so many units. See, in your electricity bill, it will be mentioned. See, you have consumed, for example, 100 units. 100 units means 100 kilowatt hour of energy you have consumed. 1 unit means 1 kilowatt hour. So high load factor reduces cost per unit generated. A high load factor reduces the overall cost per unit generated, because see, high load factor means high units, large number of units are generated, because system will be designed based on the maximum load on the system. So depending upon that, system will be designed. So if this average load on the station is reduced, means system is, although it is capable of generating so much power, but it is based on the load, average load, it will produce only that much units. So this will reduce the load factor. So if the load factor is high, means the lower will be the generation cost of generation will be reduced. So accordingly, the charges on you consumers also will be reduced. It is because higher load factor means for a given maximum demand, the number of units generated is more. So this reduces the cost of generation. And one more advantage is that it reduces variable load problem. A high load factor reduces variable load problems. See, a high load factor means your average load is very high. Instead of, suppose if the average load is less, that means your load factor is less, means your load is varying too much, maybe from minimum to maximum, again minimum. So then we should have the regulating device to cope up for this variable load. So a higher load factor means comparatively less variations in the load demand at various times. So this avoids the frequent use of regulating devices installed to meet the variable load on the station. So variable load on the station should be minimized so that we can avoid the use of this regulating device. Okay, so that's why always they prefer we should have high load factor. Average load on the station should be more, because system is ready to generate maximum number units, maximum generate high energy, but we are not using, we are posing on the station very less load. So average load should be high. So this is what the importance of high load factor. Then next you have to understand the cost of power plant. See how the cost of the power plant is analyzed. The cost analysis of power plant, it includes fixed cost and running cost. See how, say for example, you have say a thermal power plant or maybe hydel power plant that has been installed. how do you assess the cost? So there is an analysis. So we consider here fixed cost and running cost. So fixed cost will be what? So it includes about land, building and equipment cost. See, some land has been considered, it has been procured for installing a given power plant. The cost of the land, and again you have to build the power plant, and again so many equipments, generator, turbine have to be procured. So that is equipment cost. So all together is the fixed cost. Okay, so cost of land and building, it depends upon the location of the plant. Okay, you know that if the plant is situated near the cities, the land will be costlier than the case if it is located away from the cities. Of course, if it is away from the cities, then transmission cost also will reduce. So we have to compromise all these things. So of course, fixed cost. So it is considering the land cost, building cost and equipment cost. This cost will increase if the plant is near to the city. You know that even any area, if it is near to the city, the cost will be high. If it is away from the city, cost will be less. So the cost of equipment or the plant investment cost is usually expressed on the basis of kilowatt capacity installed. So it is mainly based on the capacity that is installed. Okay. So this is about fixed cost. Then interest. See, this also is considered under the fixed cost. First one is under fixed cost, we have land, building and equipment cost is first one. Under fixed cost, second term we have about the interest. So you know that all the enterprises, they have to invest, they need investment of money, and this money has to be obtained as a loan or through bonds and shares or from owners of personal funds. So the interest on the capital investment must be considered, because otherwise if the same amount was not invested in power plant, it would have earned an annual interest. Okay, so interest also is considered as the fixed cost. Okay, suppose if you are not invested for the power plant, if you are simply kept in bank, you would have earned interest. Okay, so that's why interest has to be considered for the amount what you have taken for the plant to install. So you may have to take the money from the bank or through bonds, or maybe any owners of personal funds. So what is the interest also will be considered. So then third one is depreciation cost. See, this depreciation cost is also under fixed cost. Land, building and equipment cost first one, then interest and depreciation cost. What is this depreciation cost? See, it accounts for the deterioration of the equipment and decrease in its value due to corrosion, weathering and wear and tear with use. See, to understand this, for example, you consider maybe your property, it may be your house, or best example is your vehicle. See, as years pass by, the value of the property or your vehicle will go down because of the corrosion and wear and tear with the use. See, for example, if you have an asset after 10 years, it is not its value will not be same as the new asset. Okay, so the value will go down as the years pass by. So it also covers the decrease in value of equipment due to obsolescence. It is required to replace the generating plant machinery after its expiry of useful life. Similarly, you have to consider when you have a power plant, as the years pass by, its value will go down. And maybe after wear and tear, finally that entire plant has to be replaced. So the plant has been expired. So it requires replacement. So a certain amount has to be kept aside every year from the income of the plant to enable the replacement of the plant at the end of its useful life. Maybe after 25 years, you cannot use that plant, maybe your vehicle or it may be your any asset. Okay, so we have to replace it. Then every year from the income what you are getting, some amount has to be kept aside. This amount is called as depreciation amount. So this is also considered under the fixed cost. So there are various methods to calculate the depreciation amount. So you are going to study these three methods: straight line method, sinking fund method, diminishing value method. You will study in detail later. So how do we calculate the depreciation cost amount? Okay. So you are following what insurance. See, this is all general, you can understand. See, the costly equipment and the buildings must be insured for the fire risks, riots, etc. A fixed sum is always set aside per year as insurance charges. These insurance charges depends upon the initial cost of the plant and the insurance coverage. So this is also under fixed cost. Then management cost. This includes the salaries of management, security, and administrative staff. So for all these people, salary has to be given. So those are working in the plant. So this must be paid whether the plant is working or not. So you have to pay for the salaries for all the management and security and administrative staff. So that's why this is fixed cost. This is considered as under fixed cost. So this must be paid whether the plant is working or not. Therefore, this is included in fixed charges of the plant. Okay. So this is all about the fixed cost. See, under fixed cost, we have 5 terms: land, building and equipment cost, interest for the amount what you have taken, then depreciation cost, because as the years pass by, that value will go down. You have to finally, maybe you have to replace the new one. So every year amount has to be kept aside. This is the depreciation amount. Then also you have to pay for the insurance, then management cost. So this is all comes under the fixed cost. Okay, so we have another one in the cost analysis of power plant, that is running cost. What is running cost? The running or operating cost of the power plant includes the cost of fuel, cost of lubricating oil, direct labor cost, cooling water, and number of consumable articles required. The wages required for supplying the above material are also included in the operating cost of the power plant. See, the running cost is easy, you can understand, it is the operating cost. For example, if you have to run a thermal power plant, you have to use fuel. So fuel has to be consumed. So this comes under running cost. Again, oil for lubricating, that is for mechanical parts, for wear and tear, it has to be lubricated. You have to purchase oil. So then labor cost, then cooling water. This all come during the operation of the power plant. So that's why it is also called as operating cost. And any consumable articles that is required, whatever you are paying, that will come under running cost. The wages also required for supplying the above materials should be considered in the operating cost of the power plant. So under running cost, we have first one is fuel cost. So in a thermal power plant, say I have considered a thermal power plant, fuel is the heaviest item of operating cost. So the selection of the fuel and the maximum economic in its use are therefore very important consideration in thermal power plant design. The cost of fuel includes not only its price at the site of purchase, but its transportation and handling cost also. Even the transportation of the fuel, maybe far away, you have to transport it. So transportation cost also is considered under the operating cost. So once fuel cost means cost of the fuel plus transportation cost of the fuel also will be considered. So this is first under running cost. We also have oil, grease and water cost. So all this also is required for operating your power plant. The cost of various consumables like oil, grease, etc. and water costs are also proportional to the amount of power generated. So these costs will increase with increase in life of the plant as the efficiency of the power plant decreases with age. Reduce. The total cost of power generated is the sum of fixed costs, charges and operating charges. The total cost when you are analyzing for the given power plant, it will be based on the sum of fixed charges and running or operating charges. First, fixed cost. Under fixed cost, land, building and equipment cost. Next, when I will be solving the problems, you should know how to calculate fixed charges and running charges. So some points you note down. Okay, then interest. Under fixed cost, second one is interest. Interest on the capital investment, what you have done, also has to be considered. So this will be considered as fixed charge. And third one under fixed cost is depreciation cost. So how do we calculate this depreciation? Later you will study. We have straight line method, sinking fund method, diminishing value method. So this you will see later. Just write only, understand what is depreciation, what is depreciation cost. Okay, have you noted down this point? What is depreciation cost? Shall I go to next slide? Yes. Okay, then insurance management costs. So this is all under fixed cost. Fourth is insurance. Fifth one is management cost. Okay, next second one is running cost. Running charges is nothing but operating charges. So this under this you will have fuel cost, then oil, grease and water cost. Write down. Okay, so after fuel cost, oil, grease and water cost. So these are all required when you are operating or when you are running the power plant. So it is running charges. So finally, total cost of power generated is the sum of fixed charge and operating charge. Yes, did you complete? Yes. Did you follow these things?
Ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. I'll go to next slide. Shall we start problems now? Problems you have to note down. You'll be solving problem now. You cannot simply read or see the slides. You have to note down the problems. See, it is given a generating station has a maximum demand of 50,000 kilowatts. Write down. A generating station has a maximum demand of 50,000 kilowatts. Calculate the cost per unit generated from the following data. What is the cost per unit generated? So it is given capital cost of the plant is rupees 95 into 10 to the power 6. The cost involved for investing the plant is 95 into 10 to the power 6 rupees. Annual load factor is given, that is 40%. Annual cost of fuel and oil is rupees 9 into 10 to the power 6. See, look at these values. When you compare to the cost of the plant, this is cost of fuel and oil is very less, is it not? Also, taxes, wages and salaries is rupees 7.5 into 10 to the power 6. Then interest and depreciation is 12% of the capital cost. You have to understand. So interest and depreciation is 12% with respect to the capital cost. Yes. So you are asked to calculate what is the cost of the power that is generated per unit. That means you have to remember unit means kilowatt hour. For generating 1 kilowatt hour of power, how much cost is incurred? So you have to estimate. Yes, next we will discuss how do we solve this. Okay, did you? Yes. Okay, see here since load. Yes.
Previous slide, ma'am. We are
Tell
right.
me. This one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
This slide you are noting down? Yes, yes. If you complete, you tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Now we will see how do we solve this here. See, since your load factor is given, okay. See, to make use of this load factor, whatever the data that is specified, you have to make use of this. Okay, here you are asked to calculate the cost of units per cost per unit generated. So first we will calculate what is the total number of units generated. So this can be estimated from the load factor, because we know that load factor is equal to average load divided by maximum demand. You know this, or which is nothing but average load. How do we calculate? Unit all this here. See, since your load factor is given, okay. See, to make use of this load factor, whatever the data that is specified, you have to make use of this. Okay, here you are asked to calculate the cost of units per cost per unit generated. So first we will calculate what is the total number of units generated. So this can be estimated from the load factor, because we know that load factor is equal to average load divided by maximum demand. You know this, or which is nothing but average load. How do we calculate? Unit. Hello. So you know that since load factor is equal to average load divided by maximum demand, where average load is equal to units generated divided by number of hours in the given duration. So based on this expression, this has been written. So units generated per annum equal to maximum demand into load factor into hours where, or LF. Here LF represents load factor. So same thing here, load factor is equal to units generated per annum by maximum divided by into our hours here. So this previous expression only has been written here. Did you follow this equation? So to make you to understand this, I have elaborated here. You are following? Is this part clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Since load factor is equal to average demand by maximum demand, so our average load is equal to units generated in the given duration by number of hours. So same thing I have put it here. So directly we can calculate units generated per annum equal to maximum demand is specified. Maximum demand is 50,000 kilowatts. 50,000 kilowatts. So into load factor is given 40% or 0.4. Load factor is 0.4. Hours in a year, number of hours. So since it is annually, it is given annual load factor. Since it is mentioned annual load factor, you have to consider here number of hours in a year, because it is what your substitute is annual load factor. So number of hours in a year will be 365 into 24 will be 8760. So what you get will be in kilowatt hour. So that is 17.5 into 10 to the power 7 kilowatt hour. Is it clear? So this equation you have to understand how we have obtained. For that I have put in detail here. Okay. Okay. So you will get these many units are generated per annum. That is in a year, these many units are generated. Okay. Now we have to calculate what is the fixed charge and running charge. So then sum of this will give the total annual charges. So once you know this, then cost per unit will be, so this total charges divided by this total number of units generated will give how much cost is incurred for generating 1 unit. Okay, now let us calculate annual fixed charge. It is given in the problem. Fixed charges is, you know, that is interest and depreciation, then tax, wages and salaries. So that will come under running charge. So interest and depreciation will come under fixed charge. So it is given, considered for 12%, that is 12% of the capital cost. 0.12 into capital cost is mentioned, that is 95 into 10 to the power 6. So this will give the annual interest and depreciation, this much, so rupees. This is the annual fixed charge. Whereas annual running charge, as we have discussed, that will be based on the fuel, how much amount has been incurred for fuel and oil. This is the running or operating charges. Similarly, taxes, wages and salaries, that will be, should be considered for the operating charges, so as we have discussed the theory now. So when you are calculating annual running charges, so total annual running charges will be annual cost of fuel and oil plus taxes, wages, etc. So the respective value you have to substitute here. So this 9 into 10 to the power 6 plus 7.5 into 10 to the power 6. Okay. So you will get total running charges as 16.5 into 10 to the power 6 rupees. Our total annual charge will be sum of these two, fixed charges and running charges. Okay. So you will get total annual charges is this much. See, this is the total annual charges. Okay. Now to calculate what is the cost per unit, but we know that total units generated are this much, 17.52 into 10 to the power 7 units. No, unit means 1 kilowatt hour. So for generating 1 unit, so what is the amount required? The total, this amount divided by total will give the cost per 1 unit. So this is, you will get rupees 0.16 or it is 16 paise. This is how we calculate the cost per unit. Did you understand this? You are following these equations. Here LF means load factor. Since it is an annual load factor, you have to consider hours in year. So 8760, you can write it is 365 into 24. So finally, calculate total annual charge, which is the sum of fixed charge and running charge. Cost per unit will be total cost, total annual charge divided by total number of units will give cost per unit, is it not? That's the last equation, that is rupees 27.9 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 17.52 into 10 to the power 6. So here, since it is asked cost per unit, this has to be expressed in kilowatt hour. Very important, it has to be in kilowatt hour. 1 unit means kilowatt hour. Okay. So here maximum demand is directly given in 50,000 kilowatts. So that's why you are getting in kilowatt hour. Did you complete this first problem? We'll move on to next problem. Next problem, write down. A generating station has an installed capacity of 50,000 kilowatts. The capacity of the generator station is 15,000 kilowatts and it delivers 220 into 10 to the power 6 units per annum. See again, here units means it is so much kilowatt hour per annum. For 1 year, it is delivering 220 into 10 to the power 6 units or so much kilowatt hour it is producing. If the annual fixed charges are rupees 160 per kilowatt installed capacity, fixed charges is rupees 160 you know that fixed charges is based on the kilowatt capacity. It is mentioned here, it is 160 rupees 160 per 1 kilowatt installed capacity, whereas running charges are 4 paise per kilowatt hour. So determine the cost per unit generated. See here, the running charges and fixed charges are directly given, whereas in the earlier problem you had to calculate, whereas here it is directly given. So this problem is simpler than the first problem. So can you solve this? So finally, again you have to calculate the cost per unit generated. What's the total cost per unit generated? You follow the same steps. Here this problem is simpler than the original problem. Fixed charges and running charges are directly given. Okay. Did you understand this problem?
Yes, ma'am.
How it is different from the previous problem? Okay. Did you note down? All of you are noting down?
Ma'am, we are.
Yes. Okay. See, now it is mentioned annual fixed charges are rupees 160 per kilowatt. So that is 160 into plant capacity. Plant capacity is given 50,000. So to get the total annual fixed charges, multiply by the plant capacity, you will get this is the total fixed charges, rupees 80 into 10 to the power 5. Okay. Next, annual running charges. It is given running charges are 4 paise per kilowatt hour. 4 paise are, if you want to convert into rupees, because it fixed charges is expressed in rupees. So here 4 paise you convert into rupees, it will be 0.04 rupees. This is per kilowatt hour, whereas here kilowatt hour generated is 220 into 10 to the power 6. So you understand here units means these many kilowatt hour, unit means kilowatt hour. Okay. So you are getting rupees 88 into 10 to the power 5. So very important here, these problems are simple, but you have to substitute with proper unit. So both must be in the same unit, rupees. Running charges will be very small when compared to the fixed charges. So then running charges is given in 4 paise. So convert into rupees. Understand? So this is 4 paise per 1 unit or 1 kilowatt hour. For the entire 220 to 10 to the power 6, so multiply by that, you will get the total annual running charge. So then total annual charge will be sum of fixed charge and running charge. Okay. So sum of these two, you will get the total annual charge, that is rupees 168 into 10 to the power 5. Okay. After this, next what we have to do? To get the cost per unit, like you solved in this earlier problem, this equation, what you have to do? So you got the total annual charges. Next, to calculate cost per unit, what you have to do? Divided by total units or total kilowatt hour. See, that is given to 220 into 10 to the power 6. So this value divided by units generated is 220. So you will get cost per unit. What you get will be in rupees, very important, because this is in rupees. So what you get will be in rupees. So you convert into paise because it's small, it is in 0.07 instead of telling 0.076 rupees. Better to tell 7.6 paise, is it not? Yes. Okay. Yes. Next. So we have this equation, units generated per annum equal to maximum demand into load factor, hours in a year. Since it is given load factor, it is given, it is annual. Since it is for annual period, so we have to consider the load factor is given is annual load factor. Okay. So that's why again, this is a units generated per annum equal to maximum demand into load factor into hours in a year. Again, this is based on the expression load factor is equal to average load by maximum demand. Average load is equal to units generated per annum divided by number of hours. Okay. So maximum capacity is given. Load factor first case 100% or 1. Number of hours in a year 8760. That is 365 into 24. You will get these many units generated per annum. So these many units are generated. It should be in kilowatt hour. Okay. So here it is directly given 100 kilowatts hour. So that is why you are getting 100 directly it is kilowatts, it is substituted. So you will get in kilowatt hour. But you have to estimate fixed charges per kilowatt hour. So already you have estimated total fixed charges 19,200. To calculate per kilowatt hour, divide by total number of kilowatt hours. It is not. So this will give the fixed charges per unit. Fixed charges are fixed charges per kilowatt hour generated. See, in the earlier problems, you are asked to calculate the cost per unit. So where in the cost you have considered both the fixed charges and running charges. Here they have asked to calculate only the fixed charges. That's all. Is it not? Yes or no? So you are getting rupees 0.0219, or since it's a small value, you can express in paise. Multiply by 100, you will get in paise. Similarly, in the second case, when the load factor is 50%, follow the same steps only in this equation. Load factor, instead of 100% in the first case, it is 50%, 0.5. So remaining part, see, so you will get different value of units generated because your load factor is different. So then fixed charges per kilowatt hour, so total fixed charges already you have estimated, divided by number of units or number of kilowatt hour produced will give this much. Fixed charges per kilowatt hour. Is it clear? Did you understand how the problems are solved? Yes or no? You want to have any clarification, you have any doubts, you should interact with me. No doubts? You are noting down, all of you? Very important, these problems you cannot simply read. You have to solve in your notebook. You have any difficulty in understand, you should ask me. Are you noting down?
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am?
Yes. Yes, tell me.
But could we have this PPT also, ma'am, like WhatsApp?
Definitely I'll share you. Definitely I'll share the PPT. But since the problems, some points you have to note down. Even theory also, some points you have to note down. Because when you note down every day, like when you the class you will record right down. No? So in your mind also it will be recorded. Of course, sure I will share the PPT. You can study, but everything what you learn you have to record. Then only it will be recorded in your brain. Especially problems you have to note down. Definitely I'll share all these slides later. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See, now since in this problem it is asked to calculate for two different value of load factor, what you have understood from this problem? See, in the first case load factor is given 100%. The second case load factor is 50%. When the load factor is reduced, what has happened to the fixed charges? You have to respond. Simply not that substituting in the problem and forget it. When the load factor is increased, what has happened to the fixed charges? It is increased. Yes or no? In the first case, the fixed charge was rupees 2.19 paise. When the load factor was decreased, the fixed charge is increased, that is 4.38 paise. So when the charges increased, accordingly you also will be charged. We consumers will be charged. So that's why always it is desirable to increase the load factor. That's what we have seen in the beginning of today's class. Always the load factor should be high, which is a ratio of average demand by maximum demand. So for a given maximum demand on the station, average load should be more. If the average load is less, means your fixed charge will increase, and then your electricity bill also will increase. You are following? See, that's why at the end it is mentioned. It is interesting to note down that by decreasing the load factor from 100% to 50%, the fixed charges per kilowatt hour have increased. So this illustrates the utility of high load factor. That is the significance of high load factor. In the first case, because of high load factor, fixed charges are reduced. You understand this concept? Yes? Hello. So write down this point also. By decreasing the load factor from 100% to 50%, the fixed charges per kilowatt hour are increased. So that's why high load factor is desirable always. Okay. Okay, so we'll hope you have completed this problem. So next problem you can write down. Estimate the generating cost per kilowatt hour delivered from a generating station from the following data. Generating cost per kilowatt hour delivered from a generating station from the following data. Plant capacity is 50 megawatts. Annual load factor equal to 40%. Then total capital cost of the plant is 1.2 crores. Then annual cost of wages, taxation, etc., which is equal to rupees 4 lakhs. You know that this will come under running charge. Then cost of fuel, lubrication, maintenance, etc. equal to 1 paise per kilowatt hour generated. So you know this also cost of fuel, lubrication and maintenance is also under running charges. Okay. Then interest is 5% per annum. Depreciation is 6% per annum of the initial cost. So you should remember here, you know that interest and depreciation will come under fixed charges, whereas wages, taxation, and then cost of fuel, lubrication, all should be considered under running charges. So this we have discussed in the theory part. Okay, so you are asked to calculate the generating cost per unit delivered. Again, kilowatt hour means nothing but unit. Okay, so you will solve a similar problem you have solved earlier today. Okay, same way you can solve this. Okay, solution is also given here. I want you to try to solve this by yourself. Of course, your solution is given. You also think this is based on the concept of what we have discussed today in the earlier problems also. So main thing you have to understand from the data. Anyway, total capital cost is given 1.2 crores. Then cost of wages, taxation, that will come under running charge or operating charge, that is 4 lakhs. Fuel, again, lubrication, maintenance is also under running charge. Whereas your interest and depreciation is only under fixed charge. Accordingly, you have to calculate. First calculate fixed charge and then running charge. So just you can note down the hint. I want in the next class complete solution you have to do. We have some more problems to discuss. Since only 1 minute time is left. Hope you have understood. Can you solve this problem? So anyway, annual fixed charge is equal to, you have to consider interest and depreciation. So calculate total fixed charges from the given data. Finally, annual running charges. So wages and taxation comes under fixed charge. Okay. Any doubts here? I expect